It was a moonless night in rural Pennsylvania. The kind of night where even the wind seems to whisper secrets through the trees. The empty highway stretched ahead, slick with recent rain, glistening under the dim glow of Jack's headlights. Jack Miller, a young man in his mid-20s, enjoyed these drives, when the roads were empty and the silence felt almost hypnotic. As he accelerated, the engine's roar was the only sound besides the faint patter of rain. Suddenly, up ahead in the middle of the road, a figure appeared. A woman in a long white dress stood with her hair loose, plastered to her pale face from the rain. Her presence was eerie, almost unreal. Jack slowed, his breath catching when he noticed the stains of crimson on her dress, reflecting the dim light of his headlights. The car skidded uncontrollably on the wet asphalt, flipping violently and slamming into a large tree on the roadside. Jack's heart raced, his vision blurred. When he looked up, the woman was gone, vanished into the foggy night. The silence returned, but it was thicker now, heavier, as if the highway itself was watching. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the region, a pair of criminals had made the moonless night their hunting ground. Ryan and Candace, seasoned in terror, waited for lone drivers on deserted highways. Their game was simple but deadly: scare, rob, and sometimes, when necessary, kill. Candace's role was to appear as an innocent woman stranded, luring victims into a trap, while Ryan carried out the violent act. On this particular night, Candace looked unusually distant. Her gaze was vacant, almost regretful. Ryan didn't notice. For him, it was just another night of profit and thrill. They spotted a car, and the usual plan went into motion. Candace stepped onto the road, hair flowing, dress soaked, an inviting yet terrifying figure. The driver swerved, panic in his eyes, and Ryan moved in. Jack, the driver, tried to regain control, but the highway seemed determined to swallow him whole. As Ryan approached to rob him, his eyes fell on something unusual: a small, white object on the road, half buried in puddles of rainwater. Something felt wrong. Something he couldn't quite name. At that moment, Jack stumbled out of the wreck, terrified and soaked, realizing he had survived far more than he should have. But what he didn't see lurking in the shadows, Candace's unease, the highway's secrets, was a storm yet to come. The next moonless night arrived, heavier than the last, the air thick with the scent of wet asphalt and decay. Ryan and Candace prepared for another hunt. This time, the rain was heavier, drumming a steady rhythm against the pavement, masking other sounds. A car appeared down the highway. Candace stepped into her role, hair loose, dress clinging to her skin, eyes distant and cold. But something had changed. She didn't feel excitement anymore, she felt dread. Ryan noticed too late. The car stopped. The driver's face was not what they expected. It wasn't fear, it wasn't panic, it was something else, something impossible. Shadows shifted unnaturally around him. And then, from the mist, she appeared, the woman from the last accident, her eyes empty but burning with silent rage. Her dress clung to her pale frame, her hair dripping, her presence suffocating. Ryan and Candace tried to flee, but the night had trapped them. The highway bent unnaturally, the fog thickened, and the trees seemed to stretch, closing in. Every heartbeat felt like a drum in their ears. The woman's long, thin fingers reached out, her nails sharp and cruel, slicing through the air. Panic consumed them. The previous nights of games and murders had no defense against this living nightmare. Candace screamed, tripping in the slick mud, while Ryan could only watch as the figure approached, each step echoing like the toll of a death knell. The highway, once a playground for their greed and cruelty, had become a tomb. The moonless night, the mist, and the shadows were allies of vengeance. One by one, their lives were claimed by the darkness they had so often toyed with. In the end, the highway returned to its silence. Rain still fell lightly, puddles shimmered, and the trees swayed in the cold wind. But for anyone who dared drive here again, the memory lingered, the white dress, the blood-stained hands, the emptiness in her eyes. The lesson was clear: cruelty has a cost, and the highway remembers.